So my biggest lesson has been something that Dr. Jove said 1,000 times, but he said it in Costa Rica and I heard it for the very first time.
Mm.
And he said that when you change your frequency, when you increase your vibration as a human being, and I'll explain both of those things just now, both your future and your past change at the same time. And when I first heard that, I didn't understand what it really meant. And the more I realize is that everything in our lives is based on our perspective of our lives, and our lives are based on the frequency that we have. Now, if people don't understand what frequency and vibration is in our reality, we use different words to explain it. One, those people are low energy. So criminals, prostitution, drug dealers, what do you say? I don't want to hang around with them. They're low energy, or they're bad energy. What does that say? It says they are low in their frequency. And then you meet somebody like Dalai Lama, or you meet like somebody that's been practicing meditation and yoga for many, many years. And you say, wow, I really like their energy. I want to be around them. I feel more peaceful around them. What's changed is that their frequency has changed. So we are all made up of frequencies of light. Now, in this reality that we're in right now, light travels very, very slowly. That's why we have dense materials around us. But science has proven that when you go through your desk, your computer, metal, your watch, whatever, 99% of that density is actually empty. It's dark matter. And because of the slowness of this reality of 3D, we see things as dense, but they're really not. They're quite empty inside. Now, what you've got to realize is that the 99% that is sitting empty is pregnant and full of opportunity and potential to be re-projected into a different form because of the 99% of black matter that's inside the cellular structure of everything. So my biggest lesson in my life is last year, is don't try and do anything. Just raise your frequency. And by raising your frequency, everything changes. You don't have to actually change anything. The only thing you need to focus on is increasing your frequency. So how do you go about changing your frequency? Is by allowing your internal world to become louder than your external world, by allowing your internal emotions, thoughts, and processes in your brain to project onto the world, not have the world project onto your brain. So most people are victims of the reality around us without us even knowing we're victims of it. And so what we do is we let the outside world determine our internal state. Now, if you're not meditating, if you're not spending some time getting out of your beta 3D reality and into your alpha and theta internal reality, you don't get the opportunity to do two things. One, you don't become objective about the world that you're living in. You're continuously subjective. Why? Because you're always in the world. You're not stepping out of your world to see you and the world in an objective manner. So that's the first thing. The second thing, if you're not able to step out of your reality, you can never rehearse who you want to be in that reality. You're just on a treadmill, you're a rat on a treadmill or a mouse on a treadmill, just constantly going into the matrix and then complaining about things. And in that world, you complain about the world. You realize you think you're powerless because you haven't stepped out of the world, because you kept your frequency exactly the same. You haven't changed your frequency. So when do you change your frequency? When you go on holiday. When you're on holiday and you look back onto your life, you go, oh my God, I should be doing this. I should be training better. I should be meditating more. I should be spending more time. I should be kinder to people, blah, 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 blah. You get back to your world, and within 2 days, you're back to exactly who you were. Why? Because the frequency of who you are in that world hasn't changed. And so what people want to do is they want to escape these frequencies that have kept them trapped. And what they do is they drink, whatever. There's a million things that you can do to escape that reality. And the thing we have to start to do is realize that our world is based on our perspective and frequency that we have. And the more we meditate, the more we change our neural pathways, the more we understand the neuroscience of how our reality is actually created through our perspective of it, the more we'll realize that the most important thing for us to do is change our perspective by
Mm.
elevating our frequency. There is nothing else to do. I healed my dad relationship by not trying to heal my dad relationship. I just meditated. And I was telling you off air, and I'll show off because it is a show off, because I never knew I could even do this. But I'm meditating 3-4 hours a day. No problem. No problem. It's like, it's almost like become an easy thing. The longest meditation we did with Dr. Joe in Mexico was 4 hours, 45 minutes.
Sure.
And it's simple. And the reason is that your brain moves into a different state where time is not relevant. When we think about time in a beta brainwave, it's incredibly long. But when you move into an alpha and theta, time changes. So you can sit there for hours, really. But what happens in those meditations is you get to rewire yourself, your personality, which then creates a different personal reality. And now in this new personal reality, you have a higher frequency. And the minute you elevate your frequency, not only does your future change, but your past changes as well. Because in a space of this sort of reality creation, there is no time. And so in order for me to be friends with my father, I had to automatically have forgiven him for the past, but I never tried to do that. That was just a byproduct of elevating my frequency to see my father and my brother in different ways, because I had elevated my frequency. And so one of the meditations that he does is called Heartful Mind, Mindful Heart. And in it, what he's trying to do is bring your brain and heart into coherence, to relax your heart and to awaken your brain. And when you relax your heart and awaken your brain, you raise your frequency. And when you raise your frequency, the world around you automatically changes. Because why? You've changed. So you can't expect the world to change until you have changed. And so when people complain about the world, they don't realize that they're creating that bad experience, the lack of money, the lack of relationships, the lack of whatever the case may be. So my word for the year is elevate. And the reason is that there's nothing else to do but to elevate. All your goals, all your dreams are behind or at a level of elevation of your frequency that those things become obvious and easy to access. And so that's why I'm spending so much time meditating and so much time studying neuroscience, because what I've started to realize is that there is no future, there is no time, there's only the now, and how you perceive the now based on the frequency that you have changes your experience of the exact same reality. The exact same experience that you had 2 weeks ago and you have now with a different frequency changes dramatically because you've changed.